Hey, I'm Dr. J. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you a delicious and simple cornbread with cheese and some chilies. So good, so yummy. First thing I like to do is, I like to start with a piece of parchment paper. I just kind of tear off, basically because I can put my flour on there and then just pour it into my little basket that goes into the bread maker that much easier. I'm going to start with 1 1/4 cups of bread flour. What I want to do is you just kind of want to fluff up the flour just like that. And then you just want to use a spoon kind of when you're going in there. You don't want to just stick the cup in. It will actually kind of weigh it down. You just won't get the right measurement. And it's funny because I have never been a baker over the years. I've been more of like a kind of a savory cook. I figured, you gotta eat, so I always wanted some good food. I don't know, the older I've become, the more I've enjoyed baking. I think for a long time recently, I've been blaming it on my husband or my grandkids, like, oh, they like sweets. But really, I think it's me. I think my tastes have changed. So the one thing with baking is you gotta be precise. So this is the one thing I've never done in my past. So 1 cup, right, of bread flour, and now we're gonna get 1/4 cup. I do test these recipes a few times before I record them for you all. Make sure that these come out nice and perfect each and every time. Okay, so again, 1/4 cup. And we're just gonna, okay, perfect. Now I want 1 cup of cornmeal. Okay, so I'm using a fine cornmeal here and kind of the same thing, 1 cup of that. That's gonna give us that delicious cornbread taste. And this is such a great way to do it. I love being able to put everything into my bread pan and put it in a little machine. And this will take about 1 hour and 40 minutes and it'll be done. And in the meantime, I can be doing other things, which is really great. Okay. So just like that, okay. And again, we're gonna even it off. Okay. This can be ready for the bread pan. Okay, so now we're gonna start with our wet ingredients. The biggest thing when you're using a bread machine, you really wanna make sure that you're following your manufacturer's instructions. For this machine, it's a KBS. I'll put the link in the description below. We've had this thing for a couple years. We love it. We're baking breads of all types weekly. If not, we're definitely doing 1 loaf, sometimes 2. For us, we're gonna start with our liquids first. So I've got 1 cup of whole milk. It's at room temperature. Anytime you're baking of any type, whether it's a sweet or savory baking, you really want your ingredients at room temperature. This is 2 eggs, just lightly beaten. Same thing, I had the eggs sitting at room temperature for a couple hours before I started this process. I have 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Everything's better with a little butter, right? And I've melted it down and it's cooled. Okay, going in. And then this is just a 4-ounce can of diced chilies. They're fabulous. You could also use like fresh jalapenos, but I wouldn't know how to tell you how many to use because this is the recipe that I've tried for y'all, okay? So 4 ounces, gonna go in. All right. Okay, so wet ingredients, now we'll get our dry going. Remember I told you that parchment paper, right? So this makes life a little bit easier. Just gonna fold it just like that and just kind of tip it. I'm a little bit of a messy cook anyway, so this just helps me. Okay, so we got the bread flour and cornmeal going in. I do add a little bit of sugar to this. I do like a little sweetness with my cornbread, even if it's a savory style of cornbread. Okay, so that's 2 tablespoons. I've got a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, and I've got 3/4 of a teaspoon of fine kosher salt. And this is 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. Love it. Everything's better with a little cheddar. Okay, now the trick is gonna go into the machine. Again, you wanna follow your manufacturers. I'm gonna use a quick bread setting. You may be using a cake setting, but you wanna check. It wants to be around 1 hour 36 to like 1 hour and 42 minutes. That's kind of what you're looking for. So just check your machine. So I'm gonna give this a close. I'm gonna look at the menu. I'm gonna go to that's the right setting there. I want to get, this is a 2-pound loaf, and I want the color on the loaf to be light. There we go. Okay, so again, I'm just going to check 2 pounds. I've got the quick bread setting, and I've got it set for light. It's set for 1 hour and 42, and I'm just going to hit stop. Just like that. Okay, we are done. The hardest thing about these recipes is just waiting for it to be done. Oh my gosh, it looks amazing. Okay, so this has this little hook thing that I can kind of grab because this is super hot. So I'm just gonna give this a twist, get it out of our machine. It looks and it smells amazing. Okay, so I just wanna make sure I loosen it up just a little bit. So again, hold it on. Just gonna kind of loosen up around the edge. Got my little spatula here. I just don't want to use anything that's going to scratch the inside of my pan. Okay. Make sure I loosen it up all the way. Oh my God, y'all, this smells so good. I'm also making a little chili to go with this for later, right? Wish you guys could be here to have some with me. Definitely tell me like in the comments below if you all are using your bread maker and what all you're making in it. I'd love to know. Share some of your recipes with me. It'd be great. I'm always looking for something different. Okay, so here we go. We got a chili cheddar cornbread. Oh, came out easier than I thought. There we go. All right. Oh my goodness. That's like cornbread perfection. Okay, the hardest part for me now is I've got to let this cool off for just a few minutes before we give it a taste for you. I'm gonna let it cool for about 10 minutes and a little butter on this and it's gonna be fabulous. All right, cornbread at its finest. A little bit of butter on top, right? Oh my gosh. I had to wait just a few minutes to let this cool, but oh, smelling so fabulous. Okay. Okay, so we've got the chilies in there. We got some cheese in there. That is so delicious. I got the heat from the chilies. You can taste that cheese. This is so worth making, y'all. Let me know if you try it. All right, I hope you love this recipe. If you do, don't forget to share it with your friends and family. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. And don't forget to click that bell. That way you know when the next video is coming out. Love y'all.